So thank you for joining us. Oakland creates Exhibitor Spotlight with me, Casitas Press. First of all, can you give me your pronouns, your name, and what your inspiration is for making zines and comics?
Yeah, my name is Cenorina Ramirez. Pronouns are she, they. Uh, my inspiration is always been just my community and my experiences. But above all, I think I've been inspired by the Bay Area and the zine community to create spaces where we can share our stories. But
Nice,
yeah.
cool. And what's your sort of relationship with Oakland and the East Bay? Have you always lived here, or what's your connection?
No, I haven't always lived here. So I was born in Mexico, and my family immigrated to Arizona in 2002. And so I basically grew up in Arizona, in Tucson, Arizona. Um, and then after high school, I was interested in art. Um, but as a undocumented slash undocumented individual, there weren't much resources for obtaining a higher educational,
Okay.
mostly financial resources. So I went to community college in Tucson, and then right after that, I applied to some art schools. I got
Nice.
accepted to CCA and got a scholarship. So I just like go for it. I decided to go for it. Yeah, so I moved out here to the Bay Area in 2015, which was like over 5 years ago, a bit more. I moved out here with my sister, and I went to CCA. Yeah, we lived in Oakland, and I've since moving to the Bay Area, I worked in Berkeley, uh, and I've graduated from CCA in 2018, but I stayed so far just because of the community again, the art
Right.
community. But yeah.
Nice. So, what informs your artwork the most? What influences you? Is a particular art style a different artist, or do you work from your dreams, or do you? I work a lot nonfiction. I do zines about myself, my health. What sort of influences you? Informs your art?
Um, I don't know. I think there's a lot of influences. Uh, yeah. In terms of style, I think I've been influenced by printmaking, like screen printing. I think early on I started again. Again, I usually depict my experiences or like things I see in my community. But I've been influenced by the printmaking community to make it somewhat more political and also including text and sharing stories. Yeah.
Yeah, because I met you when you were doing prints of my zines, and I think I mentioned like your work reminded me of the Chicano art movement in the '60s and '70s, and
Yeah.
yeah, in particular Malachias Montoya, he introduced me to printmaking, and your work reminds me of that, especially with a lot of the images of Mexico, the cactus, the mountains, and all the different
Mhm.
colors. And so, are you a particular fan of that kind of art? Like, I know there's an exhibit up right now of Frida Kahlo. Is
Mhm.
that something you're into at all? Because I know one pet peeve of mine was in art school. They'd always bring me the African American quilts and stuff that I just had
Uh-huh.
no interest in. And so I'm always careful to ask different cultural groups if a particular art style is their thing, but the I just see the relationship, so I don't know if you're into that or not.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's intentional, but I'm definitely interested in the Chicano movement and the printmaking movement of the 60s, 70s. Uh, yeah, and I also really enjoy some of the Chicano artists of the, I think it's 70s and 60s too, that did printmaking, but did it
Hmm.
more like experimental. I'm really into
Yeah.
trying experimental mixing of printmaking and illustration together. That's been a thing of mine. Yeah.
Cool, cool. So now I just have a couple silly questions, which some people find really hard. I don't know why, but if you could eat just three foods for the rest of your life, what three foods would they be?
Any foods?
Yeah, but you only get three for the rest of your life.
Okay. um, I think maybe lasagna. That comes to mind for some reason. Uh, brownies,
Oh
like
my
fudge
gosh,
brownies,
nice. Okay,
and sushi.
cool. That says a lot about your personality because a lot of people are picking stuff that I'm like, how can you survive off of that? Like they're picking like chocolate or avocado. I'm like, really?
That's why I
Nice.
said brownies, because chocolate. I'm like, I need chocolate in
But,
there.
but you get the brownies that has a little more substance. So,
Yeah. Hmm.
so the next one too is kind of people think, oh my god, I can't choose. If you were deserted, if you're stranded and deserted on a deserted island, what three people, living or dead or famous or not, which three people would you bring with you?
Okay. My partner for sure. I think.
Okay.
I think my mom. I want to say
Ah,
my mom.
brave.
And oh, it's hard to pick a family member or friend. Uh, I don't know about the third one. Can I pick my dog? Can
Yes,
I?
I was
Can
just
that
gonna
be
say
okay?
people are totally saying their pet, which is a great way to
Okay.
get out of that. All if you have a lot of
Yeah.
family.
Hmm.
Nice.
That's good.
So it was painless. I mean, you answered it pretty rapidly, pretty quickly. A lot of people are like, "Oh my god, what do I pick?" So that's pretty funny. Well, thanks for joining me and letting me find out a little bit more about you. Can you throw shout out your social media so where people can find you and maybe buy
Yeah.
your stuff?
Yes. My Instagram is cenorina.art. So CENORINA.art. And art is Instagram for Mikasita Press is Mikasita Press. Our website is mikasitapress.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been great.